Hey, my name's Lucas, and I wanted to make this video showing you 10 ways that you can grow and sell your marketing agency. I had the opportunity to do this over the last 6 years and was able to sell my agency in 2024 for 7 figures. So I want to show you exactly how I was able to do it, how you can do it too. It's a lot easier than it might seem, and I truly believe that anybody is capable of achieving their dreams, of building a company that can provide the lifestyle they want for themselves, their family, and just do whatever they would like to do with their life and give back and help people with really valuable services. So, hopefully, this is helpful for you, and I'm excited to show you these different ways that it's been able to benefit my life and exactly how you can do it yourself. So, for any of this stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you today, the first thing that I would recommend you do is build a personal brand. I didn't start doing this until much later in my journey, and it was extremely helpful to do this. By doing this, it allowed me to generate a lot of leads that I would not have been able to do otherwise. And the cool thing about having a personal brand is that you're able to then have your sales team take meetings that come in through inbound traffic. Maybe it's coming from YouTube. So I just showed you my YouTube playlist that I had that had different types of videos that my leads would watch before they would come on a call with us. And that really helped us grow and scale because people were already warmed up to what we were offering, and it really helped them figure out if this was a good service for them. So I would say start with that as soon as possible. None of these platforms are dead. They're all growing faster than ever, and it's actually easier to get on these platforms than it ever has been before. So I would recommend starting there. First and foremost, build a personal brand right away. In case you're wondering about my company and just what I sold, the company is still active. It's called Twiz. You can go check it out. We worked with a lot of really cool brands. We still do. I'm no longer affiliated with the business. When I sold it, I completely removed myself, but we spent that last 6.5 years basically building this company and selling it. And so feel free to check out the business, the website, anything like that, just to see the current structure of how we have it set up and how we were able to sell that company. But we did a lot of SEO and lead generation services, is what we predominantly did in order to get it to a size where we were doing about close to, by the time I sold it, close to like 135 grand a month in sales. That was right around there. And we had bootstrapped the business, so we hadn't gotten any fundraising or anything like that. So it's totally achievable for you to do that too with your company. On that point of building a personal brand, I would say that LinkedIn is definitely still where a lot of the opportunity is. The thing about LinkedIn, which is fascinating, is that it is a low volume opportunity. It kind of always has been. So when you're doing LinkedIn outreach, for instance, you ideally want to go through your current network, and you can actually gather more people to be in your current network by posting content on LinkedIn. When you post content on LinkedIn, then you are getting more followers who, once you connect with them, you can then send them information and you can form a relationship with them. You can post lead magnets, you can do all sorts of things. And I have found this incredibly helpful working now. I am post exit. I've been working as the chief growth officer at Rapid Dev, and they're ranked number 391 on the Inc. 5000 of fastest growing companies. And LinkedIn has been a phenomenal tool for getting new partners, for forming new relationships. It still is. It's incredible. So don't sleep on it. I would say you should always have some kind of outreach, personalized outreach to people who are in your first degree connections on LinkedIn, low volume, high personalization, make videos, have some kind of ongoing offer, and just build relationships. It still is the gift that keeps on giving. And when I was first building my agency, I spent so much time on LinkedIn. It was crazy. I was posting a lot of content, was building a lot of relationships, and these relationships are ones that you're gonna have for the rest of your life, and you can keep building them. And so, I have 15,000 followers, which is not actually that much in the grand scheme of things, but it's a healthy amount that's allowed me to navigate post-exit life, working in my company, getting new clients, essentially this ongoing stream of value creation from having this. Merge is really interesting because they are a brokerage that is specifically catered towards marketing agencies and development agencies or whatever kind of agency you have. And I actually had my company valued by them when I was thinking of selling it. And it was great because what they do is they, at the time, and I think now they might actually charge for this valuation, but if you're thinking about selling, you should always have some kind of evaluation done for your agency. And I actually recommend that you do it as soon as possible. So once you've had, let's say, 10 clients or 5 to 10 clients, let's say, it's probably worth it just to have a valuation, because there's multiple sites where you can get an informal valuation, meaning you can post your agency and see if anyone's interested in buying it. Like you can go to MicroAcquire, now it's called acquire.com, or you can do it through Merge, for instance, and I think you have to pay for this one. The point is, you'll be able to know if there is even an opportunity to exit your business. And a lot of people don't realize that opportunity to exit your business is actually a lot of times a lot easier and sooner than people might realize. So definitely give this some thought, check this out, see if this is something that's right for you, and get evaluation as soon as possible. Highly recommend it, couldn't recommend it enough. On that point of building a personal brand, another extremely valuable way to grow now and 3-4 years ago is through a podcast. This podcast, How to Scale an Agency, was one that I built with a couple different people, AJ Casada and Jordan Ross. We were able to grow it to a pretty good size, actually. At one point, we were getting about 10,000 downloads a month. And what that allowed us to do is to have incredible just binging of content from people that were our leads. They were just listening to one episode after another, and it was really great just for vetting and qualifying leads. Also, just gave us tremendous access to all sorts of people. If I wanted to get in touch with a large CEO, I would invite them on the podcast, and that would allow me access where otherwise I would not have had access, because they probably wouldn't have taken my call if I just called them to try to close them on something. But because I had a podcast, I was able to build a relationship with them, which made it much more likely that they would actually work with us down the road or in the future. So I recommend starting a podcast. Again, for all these things, it's never too late to get started on them. Podcasts have been around for a very long time. I started mine in 2022, and I've done hundreds of episodes. Now, if you go back to this podcast, you can see the episode titles. Now Jordan owns the podcast. I don't run it anymore. I sold it as part of the thing. I didn't really want to keep running this. It just wasn't really something I wanted to keep talking about, to be honest. But I know I was a little burned out. But I definitely think it was worth it for the time. And I think you should start one for your specific niche. And that way, it's another way for your leads, again, to just binge your content, keep you top of mind, and just be entertaining in general. The next thing I wanted to show you was just being clear on your business model. So what I have pulled up here is just a business model. And one thing that's important if you're thinking about selling is basically thinking through the different numbers in regards to how much money you're making per client, the number of clients that you have, the EBITDA margin, which is essentially the earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So the way to think about this is that number is actually the most important number for potential buyers of an agency. They care about that mostly, not really your gross profit, and your actual valuation is going to be based on that. So for instance, when we were thinking about selling, our EBITDA was around like $450,000 a year. And we were growing, so we were able to get about a 3 to 4x multiple on that number. So when we sold, the business was worth around, and the different valuations we were getting was between 1.2 to 1.5 million effectively. And then what I have here is essentially the valuation you can have, and it goes up once you cross $1 million EBITDA, and then also upfront, which is usually about 50%. What I will say is that you want to avoid situations where somebody's willing to offer you 30% upfront, 20% upfront, because, and the rest is on financing, because that's likely not going to get paid. So it's better to get a good amount up front and then have no financing or little financing or little performance based revenue that you're going to get, and just have it be purely based on upfront is my recommendation. Most of the founders that I know who have sold now have done it this way. So the next thing I would say is to get really, really, really good at hiring people as freelancers, and then you can bring people on as employees whenever you want to, but don't be scared to experiment with freelancers and to have people come on for specific jobs. I know nowadays it's even the case people are using Claude Code and Claude Assistant and OpenClaw to have an agent running 24/7. That's actually something I'm going to be getting a lot more into, just to see how that can work with my business. But for having something on Upwork, you can have all of these different freelancers working on a variety of different tasks, and you don't need to bring them on full time. I think developing the skill of knowing how to hire somebody just for a few hours a week to start and then scaling them up is a very, very critical task that a lot of people should learn immediately, because in this day and age, you don't need to hire people full time immediately. And if you're just starting out, or even if you're scaled up and you're looking to become more scalable, and you're trying to get to the next level, a lot of that's going to come down to basically getting all those things that you're doing right now handed off to somebody else. So if you can do that through Upwork and compartmentalize it, I'm not partnered with Upwork, but I just think it's a great service that I've used all the time for many things, including selling my agency. So I would definitely recommend doing that for sure. Now, the other thing I would say is ClickFunnels or some kind of funnel mechanism is going to be your best friend. I say ClickFunnels because even though they kind of went through a bit of a rough patch when they were updating to their ClickFunnels 2.0, it was really bad as a rollout, I think. They have significantly gotten better. And I think that with something like ClickFunnels, again, not affiliated with them, but it's just a really cool platform. You can use a bunch of other ones though. Like you could use Go High Level, you could use Lovable. You don't even have to pay the fee for a monthly subscription to these platforms. But the point is, you should be compartmentalizing all your products and services, and you should have a value stack. This is something that Alex Hormozi talks about, Russell Brunson talks about, but like all these things are so valuable for your business. And again, it's just going to make it easier to scale and to sell, because if you can productize early on, it's going to be easier for you to have compartmentalized value. So not general value, not just service value, but like it could be a ebook, it could be an audit, it could be a software, it could be an e-commerce product, it could be anything. But if it allows people to actually consistently come through your funnel and then serve up qualified leads for your salespeople, it's going to be super valuable, and you should definitely consider doing it. So I would say you want to have a funnel running at all times, and you want to use whatever tool you're comfortable with. There's so many of them nowadays. ClickFunnels is a good one to start with, but you can use any of these tools just to get something spun up. That would be my recommendation, because if you're trying to sell, if you're trying to scale, you're going to need a bunch of funnels, and you're going to have to get really good at making funnels. The other thing I would say is use something like Bubble or Lovable, or, again, your AI tool of choice, to just start experimenting with building apps. The thing about agencies nowadays, which is really interesting, I kind of saw this happening back in the day, but I wasn't fully aware of it. I towards the tail end of my agency, I finally caught on to this, but basically a lot of these agencies are basically charging businesses the highest price possible for completing a task. So if you buy a software product, let's say you're using ClickUp, you are paying $19 a month for that tool to help with project management, which is cool. But like if you need to pay somebody $3,000 a month for solving a problem, like growing your business or something like that, that's a much higher total amount of money, and it's capturing a lot more value technically. because people are willing to pay for that if you're offering a good service. And so what ends up happening is a lot of those services are now being eaten into by software products. So you're finding things like done for you marketing with an AI agent, or a software tool. And it's never been easier to build apps. I recommend using Bubble because Bubble is one of those tools where it can get you a functioning application that is secure. And I stress security here, because I think Lovable is good, but the thing about Lovable is if you're not familiar with coding, even though it's no code, you might actually accidentally release something that actually is a security risk, which I think is not good. But with Bubble, it does a pretty good job of telling you if there's security risks. Also, it's kind of the golden age right now for things like mobile apps. If you want to release a mobile app for your clients, it's easier than ever to get this on the App Store. With my company, I had a product that was for my clients that allowed them to receive referrals from other clients of mine and other members of this community that I built towards the end of my agency. And that allowed for higher retention. It opened up a whole new product line for my business, and I built it entirely on Bubble. So I highly recommend that you still use a tool like this, so that way you can essentially make the most of the value capture with your agency. And again, make it easier to sell, because if you have a suite of products, it's going to be a lot easier to sell than if you're just doing one thing and one thing only. It's going to diversify your income also for your business. This is an example of not just the podcast that I had, but also having mentors. So Corey Quinn is a mentor of mine, kind of like on and off again. I mean, I don't go to him for everything, but we've had a number of conversations over the years, and I definitely consider him a mentor. And he was able to grow Scorpion Marketing to $150 million a year in revenue, and he was the CMO. And so I go to him for a lot of advice, and I recommend that you surround yourself with a suite of mentors throughout the journey of your agency. The thing about what I've really learned looking back on my agency is that I did not put as much of an emphasis on directly going and asking mentors for advice on exactly what I should do to grow until like the end of my business. And that really wasn't smart, because I had access to a lot of these people through the podcast, things like that, and I could sell them on things. But I was asking them kind of general questions about how to grow their agencies, but I wasn't asking like specifically. I wasn't saying, hey, how much would it cost for me to like pay you to look at this, right? And because of that, I was sort of falling behind, because I didn't have um, the secret all the time. Like they could just show me the path, they could show me the shortcut, and they could help me out. And I wasn't utilizing that to the best of my ability. And so I definitely recommend you do something like that if you want to make the most of growing your businesses. Have just numerous experts that you can hire, or if you can get them for free, that's even better. But have somebody who is willing to help you in all these different aspects just to grow and scale. The next thing is to automate your entire business with AI and no code. Nowadays, it is sort of just the quid pro quo of running an agency. I made this 2 years ago, just this video explaining how to do this, back when ChatGPT was really gaining steam, and it looked very different. But nowadays, it's just sort of the bare minimum. You kind of have to automate your business as much as possible. And I think that for the most part, having something like Claude Code or OpenClaw could be a good thing to start thinking about just to experiment. I would be really careful about security risks, because there has been a lot of these security risks that people just who don't know how to code or don't have that experience might accidentally expose themselves to. I have seen it secondhand work very well. So I'm not talking from firsthand experience here. I've seen it work very well, but I haven't myself implemented it, just to be completely transparent. But I'm starting to feel like I am getting to the point where I should try it. And I think the wave has turned a bit where it just seems like everyone is using it at this point. So I think if you aren't actively trying to build ethical tools to help your clients and your business grow, you're not really going to make the most of the opportunities at your fingertips right now. So you really do need to start thinking about automation and thinking about AI. And the cool thing about where AI is nowadays is you could just ask the AI tool, how can I be automating my business? And it will tell you. So you could just set aside 10 minutes a day and just literally make it automation time and just give it all your problems, maybe talk it out loud, anything that you're thinking about, and then just have the AI just literally tell you what to do. It is that easy nowadays. So I definitely recommend that you do it and see how much it can help you. The last thing I would recommend is to use a tool like School to start building a community. Communities are one of these things that are becoming more and more popular, just especially as AI is sort of taking over even more and things are being more and more automated. People want to have a relationship with the companies that they work with. They don't just want to buy their services, they want to have a relationship. And so this is another way, again, to diversify your income streams and to make everything just smoother, more scalable, to help more people, give more value, because people are going to starting to demand more value in general for the work that they're paying for. And so it's not enough nowadays to just sell a service for $3,000 a month or $5,000 a month and that's it. You have to find some other ways to get value, or you're going to be eaten alive by these other companies. Unfortunately, it's kind of sad, but that is the way I've seen things go, unfortunately. So I would recommend that you start a community as soon as possible. I had built a community to about 500, 600 agencies by the time I sold my business. And that was great because it allowed for so much innovation, mind sharing, masterminding, just all these cool things happened when I did that. So I would say if I were you, I would build one as soon as possible for your business. So if you found this valuable at all, any of the things I discussed today, definitely feel free to book some time with me to chat about your agency and how I might be able to help, whether it's through the community or if it's through anything else that we are doing. So it could be through my content. I can give you some videos. I've made so many at this point that could be helpful, or any other ways we could work together. I would love to have an opportunity to chat with you. I'm taking some consultations with individuals throughout the month and providing some value as needed to their business. So feel free to book a time if I have some available. I have a few slots and I look forward to chatting with you. Hope you have a great day and feel free to comment on this video if you have any questions.